Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I am coming to you with a live breaking news episode here, live from Israel. We are talking about a potential strike on Iran by Israel, maybe by the US, maybe a coalition strike. I'm Tal the Traveling Clout, your favorite white colonizer, coming to you from the Middle East right now. Let's take a look at this leaked CNN article. Apparently, it's been leaked. There's rumors that it has been leaked by factions within the U.S. government, even within the Israeli government, to try to expedite an Iranian strike or a U.S. or Israel strike on Iran. I want to say a big thank you real quick to Preston Stewart, who watching his video on this matter helped me actually gain the resources for this video as well. I was kind of waiting. This isn't like breaking news. It's been a couple hours that this news has broken out. I was kind of waiting to see what exactly, if any more information will come out, but we kind of hit a cap on information. So again, this was leaked to CNN. New intelligence suggests Israel is preparing possible strike on Iranian nuclear facilities, U.S. officials say. So the U.S. has obtained new intelligence suggesting that Israel is making preparations to strike Iranian nuclear facilities, even as Trump administration has been pursuing a diplomatic deal with Tehran. Multiple U.S. officials familiar with the latest intelligence told CNN. So there we go. It's stating here multiple U.S. officials familiar with the latest intelligence told CNN. It's unclear still, by the way, if this was just U.S. officials or if these were Israeli officials in the U.S. trying to undermine basically the diplomatic process. And don't get it twisted. I'm not trying to demonize Israel right now, but it does seem like these Iranian talks have been anything but fruitful. And we'll get into a video recently that just came out from Memory TV, translated by Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the supreme leader of Iran, the dictator, the monster that's holding Iran hostage. We're going to get into the video just from a couple days that completely demonizes Israel and the U.S. So you can see how well these diplomatic talks between the U.S. and Iran are going. And again, that was a huge thanks to Preston Stewart for bringing that to my attention, because I wouldn't have seen it if I didn't watch this video. Such a strike would be a brazen break with President Donald Trump. U.S. official says it could also risk tipping off a broader regional conflict in the Middle East. They've been saying this for 2 years at this point. We're already in a broader conflict in the Middle East. We have everyone's firing at everyone. So that's kind of a bullshit isolationist talking point. It's like, we don't want to tip off a war. You're already in a war. You're already in a war with everyone. Everyone's fighting each other. Something the U.S. has sought to avoid since the war in Gaza inflamed tensions beginning in 2023. Officials caution it's not clear that Israeli leaders have made a final decision, and that, in fact, there is a deep disagreement within the U.S. government about the likelihood that Israel will ultimately act. Whether and how Israel strikes will depend on what it thinks of the U.S. negotiations with Tehran over its nuclear program. But the chance of an Israeli strike on Iranian nuclear facilities has gone up significantly in recent months, said another person familiar with U.S. intelligence on the issue. And the prospect of the Trump-negotiated U.S.-Iran deal that doesn't remove all of Iran's uranium makes the chance of a strike more likely. Listen, folks, I got to be honest with you. I don't see Israel. Bibi Netanyahu has shown us that he's kind of unwilling to act without... He's unwilling to do pretty much anything without Trump's, full endorsement of what they're supposed to do. And even then, he kind of hesitates. And this isn't, again, to take a huge dig at Bibi, even though I think many of us here in Israel are kind of disappointed with him, especially for his lack of action recently, especially after, Trump gave expedited, go do whatever you need to do in Gaza, and we hesitated, and we came off like a bunch of idiots. I don't see Bibi acting. I don't see Bibi fulfilling a strike without the explicit permission from the United States with Iran. Because if somehow that turns into a disagreement between Iran and the U.S., Bibi's going to lose any points he may have left. And really, at the moment, the only points he kind of has left is that its surface level seems like he may have a good relationship with the U.S., even though that's also kind of been faltering recently. It feels like that hasn't been 100% clear. Let's see. The heightened worry stems not only from public and private messaging from senior Israeli officials that it is considering such a move, but also from intercepted Israeli communications and observations of Israeli military movements that could suggest an imminent strike, multiple sources familiar with the intelligence said. Among the military preparations the U.S. has observed are the movements of air munitions and the completion of an air exercise, two of the sources said. But those same indicators could also simply be Israel trying to pressure Iran to abandon key tenets of its nuclear program by signaling the consequences if it doesn't, underscoring that ever-shifting complexity the White House is navigating. And I got to be honest, I got to add a little element to this too. A couple months ago, I think right as I arrived in the U.S. or right before I was leaving to the U.S., there was this giant mobilization by the U.S. Navy positioning itself right here in the Middle East, in the Red Sea and in the Persian Gulf, and they were lining up to threaten Iran. And when Israel's strong and mighty and doing these military exercises, it sends the right message, regardless of how you isolationists in America feel, who may watch my videos and are like, this isn't our war, we shouldn't get into this. I'll explain this again for the 500th millionth time. You are dealing with Islamic society. It is not normal. You're not fighting a normal group of people like you think you may be fighting a normal human being. These people borderline have rabies. And I can speak because I'm a part of this fucking stupid society. These people don't behave in a normal linear path. Like you may think, hey, you threaten them like this, then you can back off. You have to threaten all the way. So even if you don't actually intend on striking, even if it's going to cost you a few $1 million more to have these troops here to be putting pressure on without striking, you need that. The second you pull away, which the U.S. has pulled away, the Navy pulled away part of its resources that it was using to threaten Iran, you get into a pickle because I'm going to show you a video right now, actually, I'll show it to you, of how they're talking about the U.S. And again, this is addressing specifically the isolationists. Those of you guys who are like, this isn't our war, we don't want to get involved. They have already involved you in the war. There's a potentially nuclear power who is saying death to America. Not just death to Israel, death to America. It is as if China, who has nukes, and as if Russia, who has nukes, were openly going on TV and saying death to America. They intend on striking you with a nuke. They intend on killing your citizens where they can find them. They intend on destroying America. Whether or not you want to be involved in this war, they already involved you. You need to listen to what I'm saying ever so clearly. That's the truth. Now let's look at exactly while negotiations are going on between the U.S. and Iran. This is the rhetoric coming out. And again, a big thanks to Preston Stewart for putting this on my plate because I wouldn't have seen it otherwise. So May 17th.
بعضی از این حرفایی که در این سفر رئیس جمهور آمریکا به منطقه مطرح شد لایق جواب دادن نیست اصلا.
That's to America. That's to England. That's to the hypocrites and the infidels. That's you, by the way. That's you, by the way. Like listening to country music? Like listening to R&B? Like eating pork? Like eating bacon in the morning? You're a hypocrite. You're an infidel. You don't believe in the Quran. That's you. That's you. Death to Israel. That's you also. You're a part of the Israeli Zionist regime, buddy. You got an American passport? You got American citizenship? That's you. Are you a Muslim in America? That's you also. And by the way, these people in the crowd, there's no way to know if they're there by force. Like the Islamic regime of Iran, it's not like it necessarily gives its people the freedom. And we know that most of the Iranian population hates the IRGC. So I don't want to demonize these people, but the words that they're saying are the words plugged in from the Islamic regime. They're what the Islamic regime believes. So we're not demonizing the people on camera because unfortunately, we can't know if these people are held against their will. I mean, honestly, most likely they are. Most likely they're paid to be there or they're forced to be there by gunpoint. But the words that are coming out of their mouths, that's the rhetoric of the army, the nuclear power that wants to kill you. Take this seriously, Americans. Take this seriously, Westerners. It's not a joke. It's not me trying to scare you, but take it seriously. They're telling you they want to kill you. Don't be like, I don't want to get involved. Fuck their shit up.
اینقدر سطح حرف پایینه که مایه سرفکندگی گوینده حرف و مایه سرفکندگی ملت آمریکاست. اونا رو کار نداره. لکن یکی دو جمله رو باید روش توجه بکنیم. ترامپ گفت که میخواد از قدرت برای صلح استفاده کنه. دروغ گفت.
Again, as they're chanting death, death to America, don't take it from the Iranian people, because the Iranian people don't believe this. This is something that the leader, the dictator of Iran, the supreme leader, the Ayatollah, who's holding his country hostage, is forcing them to most likely say. They don't necessarily believe in what they're saying, but when you hear them saying death to America, remember that's just an extension of his mouth. That's what he's wanting to say without openly saying it. He's making it seem, he's propagandizing to you that these people think they want to see the end of America.
ایشون و مسئولان آمریکایی، دولت‌های آمریکا از قدرت استفاده کردن برای قتل عام غزه، برای جنگ افروزی در هر جایی که بتوانند، برای حمایت کردن از مزدوران خودشون از قدرت این استفاده رو کردن. چه از قدرت برای ایجاد صلح استفاده کردن؟ بله، از قدرت می شود برای صلح و امنیت استفاده کرد. به همین دلیل هم هست که ما به کوری چشم دشمنان هر روز بر قدرت خودمون و که قدرت کشور انشالله اضافه خواهیم.
So creepy, huh?
به همت
So creepy and uncomfortable to look at.
ملت‌های منطقه آمریکا از این منطقه باید برود و خواهد رفت. حتما تو این منطقه اون نقطه مایه فساد، مایه جنگ، مایه اختلاف رژیم صهیونی است. رژیم صهیونی که غده سرطانی خطرناک مهلک این منطقه است، حتما باید برکنده شود و خواهد شد.
So creepy and uncomfortable to look at. So creepy. If you don't find that really off-putting, I don't know. I don't know. But again, the sentiment stands. They have involved you in a war. You're already at war with them. I'm not saying that pursuing the diplomatic action is not worth it, but keep the military action on table, and at least as Americans, make it seem, as Westerners, make it seem like you don't want to take these people's shit. Because they're coming to kill you. They want to kill you. They're going to find ways to kill you. They do it all the time. CNN has asked the National Security Council and Israeli Prime Minister Office for comment. The Israeli embassy in Washington did not comment. Trump has publicly threatened military action against Iran if his administration efforts to negotiate a new nuclear deal to limit or eliminate Tehran's nuclear program fail. But Trump also set a limit on how long the U.S. would engage in diplomatic efforts. And to be honest, Trump's a master negotiator. I like Trump's negotiating tactic, especially in the Middle East, but this one has just really not... The Iranian regime is taking him for a fucking ride. They're really taking him for a ride. They've been pushing things off. They've been delaying because they're just trying to survive as long as they can. It's the same thing with Hamas. And they're really taking him for a ride, and they're making it look public. It looks like a public taking him for a ride. You know, you can see it. In a letter to Iran's in a letter to Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei in mid-March, Trump set a 60-day deadline for those efforts to succeed. According to a source familiar with the communication, it has now been more than 60 days since the letter was delivered and 38 days since the first round of talks began. A senior Western diplomat who met with the president earlier this month said that Trump communicated the U.S. would give those negotiations only weeks to succeed before resorting to military strikes. But for now, the White House policy is one of diplomacy. That has put Israel between a rock and a hard place. And essentially the rest of this article, I mean, it's all just speculation. This is where we're sitting at the moment. Islamic regime of Iran seems to be nowhere closer to any negotiation with the United States of America on its nuclear deal. You have all facets of the U.S. government sort of split on this, whether they want to strike, whether they don't want to strike. The basis that I just want to convey to you, whether a strike is right or not, honestly, I don't feel comfortable saying. I just think the most important thing is that immense military pressure that needs to be placed on Iran. You need to make it feel like you're about to strike them at any point to force them to the table. And the rhetoric from all of us in the West should be, we're not hesitating. We're going to fuck you up, Iran. Not the Iranian people, obviously, the Islamic regime of Iran. We're going to fuck you up. That needs to be the rhetoric coming out of this. And the more you sit there and debate, oh, Israel's our enemy and Israel's this and that, they have already involved you. What the fuck is England involved? They have already involved you. You've always been involved in this, whether you like it or not. Now wake up to the fact that you're involved in it and start acting like you're involved with it. It's like if somebody asks you to fight and they're telling you, I'm going to fight you regardless. What are you going to do? You're going to run away? You're going to retreat? Or are you going to put your hands up? And this is coming from somebody with zero fighting experience, but I wouldn't want to run away. I wouldn't want to run away. Because if that person's coming to hurt me regardless, it's your duty to stand up for yourself. It's your duty to stand up for everybody around you. Your allies. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but I feel like this is what I believe in. This is at least a very small element of morality that you can stand for. That's me propagandizing to you, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks so much for helping me hit 400,000 subscribers the other day, and I will see you guys in the next one. Please support the channel by buying some merchandise, becoming a patron. There's plenty of ways to support, and I'll see you in the next one. Love you a long time, guys. Bye-bye. If you believe in my content and want to support me, just know your help is needed. There's a bunch of great ways to support me, being PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, or joining my Patreon community down below. Patreon is the best way to support my channel, and you'll get a bunch of cool perks depending on what tier you join. Another great way to support me is by buying my merchandise on thetravelingclat.com. I regularly drop new merch designs like this beautiful hat, or this amazing shirt, where you can support the channel and get something cool for yourself. I also have an amazing Discord community with people from all over the world. Thank you so much for your support.